Hey everybody, this is Wacky Jacky. In my first video of the Pythagorean theorem, Alex Smith commented and wanted to know about the quadratic formula. Now, this was very, flattering. But Alex, shouldn't you be practicing? Colin Kaepernick just stole your job. Come on, man! Anyway, let's do this. What is the quadratic formula? Quadratic formula shows us for what x values does y equal 0. In other words, we're finding the x-intercepts of a graph. Okay, so quadratics are in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. It would equal y, but in this case we're setting it equal to 0. To find for what x is y equal to 0. Okay, first thing we do, divide everything by a. We want this coefficient to be 1, the coefficient in front of the x squared. So we get x squared plus b over ax plus c over a equals 0. Okay. Now what strategy are we going to use to solve for this, for the x in this case? Well, you know what I like to use? Complete the square! Complete the square! Complete the square! That's right, we are. We're going to complete the square. Let's get this c over a onto the other side. b over ax equals negative c over a. Now how do we complete the square? We take half of the coefficient of the x and we square it. And we're going to add that to both sides. Okay, so that's b over 2a squared plus b over 2a squared. Okay, now, how do we write this in terms of a square now? We write it as x plus b over 2a squared equals, okay, so this is the same as b squared over 4a squared. So we're going to combine like terms. So we're going to say b squared, and we're going to multiply this by 4a over 4a, just to add like terms or whatever. So we get minus 4ac over 4a squared. Okay. Now what are we going to do with this? Just a, simple completing the square thing. Take the square root of both sides. You get x plus b over 2a equals plus or minus, right? Plus or minus. Now the bottom is an actual square term, so we can write that as 2a. Because 2a times 2a is 4a squared. But we still got b squared minus 4ac. That's called the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Okay, now we're going to subtract b over 2a from both sides. So we get x equals b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. And there you go. That's the quadratic formula. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's going to give us our x-intercepts. Now, what do we need? Yep, clean board. Okay, so let's dive a little more in depth about what this would be graphically. And we can tell everything, or we can make a pretty good generalization just by the discriminant, or the b squared minus 4ac part. So remember, that's under a square root sign. So if b squared minus 4ac were negative, can we have a square root of a negative? No, that'd be an imaginary number. So graphically, that would mean that it never hits the x-intercept, or the x-axis, sorry. It could be like that, it could be like that, never hits it. What if the discriminant were positive? if the discriminant were positive, then we have plus or minus a positive value. So we would have two answers. That means that it would be like this. It would hit the x-axis in two spots. Okay? Like that or that. Two spots. Two different spots. And thirdly, what if the discriminant were 0? Well, the square root of 0 is just 0. So then we have plus or minus 0. Plus 0 and minus 0 are the same thing. So that would mean we have one x-intercept, meaning it hits the x-axis in one spot. One spot. Like that. That's what it would look like graphically. So all the quadratic formula is doing is telling you where it hits the x-axis. What x makes y 0? That's what the quadratic formula is telling. Thank you. Until next time.